Cowboys waiting for that green light to rock and roll, and we are on. Hey guys, how you going? So down BK Sport, we just finished up with a big upset in the Tigers versus the Bulldogs, with the Tigers getting a 14-point win there, and now we move into the last game of the round, and it has been an unbelievable round of rugby league. Titans-Panthers was incredible. Warriors and Dolphins was fantastic. Broncos scored 60 on a New South Wales Cup team. Storm-Eels was close. Dragons with a massive upset against the Raiders. The Roosters in a big win in a battle for the top 8 there with Manly, and now we get here to the Sharks and Cowboys, where the Sharks, if they win, that's going to put a really big stamping point on their chances of pushing the top 8, getting into the top 7 for the time being. But with their run home comparatively to a couple of their opposition teams, they still have a chance at the top 4 with a win today, because they would actually be only 2 points behind the Warriors. But let's quickly run through these team lineups, because the game starts in 5 minutes time, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it. So the Sharks, they come into this game from 8th position, and the Cowboys come to this game from 12th position, and this is at Shark Stadium in Sydney, Sharky Park. I wonder if it's raining as heavily as it has been everywhere else in Sydney this weekend. Now, the ins here for the Sharks: Briton Nakora, Sia Sifatalakai, and Thomas Hazelton, with the outs being Chris Vieira, Hoheba Peru, and Toby Rudolph. The fullback is William Kennedy, with the wingers being Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Militalo. Centres of Jesse Ramian and Sia Sifatalakai. You go to the 5'8", Braden Trindle, and the halfback is Nico Hines. The front row forwards are Adam Fanor-Blake and Oregon Kafusi. Number 9 is Blake Brayley. Back row, Briton Nakora and Teague Wilton, with the 13 being Cameron McInnes, who is the captain. Then you go to the interchange, Daniel Atkinson, Jesse Colhoun, Braden Hamlin-Ueli, and Thomas Hazelton, with the 18th man replacement being Billy Burns, and the coach is Craig Fitzgibbon. Now, originally Billy Burns was meant to be on the bench there, but he has shifted out to the 18th man for Thomas Hazelton to come in. Outside of that, this Sharks team is pretty much what you would expect, man. Huge in now of Briton Nakora, obviously New Zealand international. He is one of the best back rowers in the game. They need him. This is a very good Sharks roster that hasn't been doing very good this season. You know, they are in 8th position. I predicted them to win the comp this year. Thought Adam Fanor-Blake signing for the Warriors was going to be massive for their chances on the attack and to really help out Nico Hines. It hasn't necessarily worked out at this point. They are at least in the top 8, which is huge, and their run home is not exactly that hard comparatively. Now, they did win last week against the Rabbitohs, but it wasn't a convincing win by any means. It really wasn't. It was a struggle win, especially considering that same Rabbitohs team has then gone on to lose by 60 to the Brisbane Broncos. But they did win 14-12. They beat the Roosters 31-18, beat the Dolphins 24-12, and their last loss coming against that Storm team 30-6, despite the fact they have beaten the Storm at some point. About maybe 2.5 months ago or so. But their run home is the Cowboys in 12th, the Dragons in 11th, the Titans in 16th, a bye, the Knights in 15th, and the Bulldogs in 3rd position. So, look, the Sharks actually be looking pretty heavily at a top 4 finish. They actually are still looking at a top 4 finish here, which would be crazy to see considering their season. Now, the ins here for the Cowboys: Jamal Shibasaki and Mali Bitungane, with the outs being Carl Lawton and Thomas Duffy. The fullback is Scotty Drinkwater, with the wingers being Robert Derby and Braden Burns. Centres of Zach Labour, and here's a surprise for you: Jeremiah Nene shifts in from the back row into the centres. Go to the 5'8", Jackson Purdue shifting from the centres to the 5'8", with the halfback being Tom Dearden, the captain. Front row, Harrison Edwards and Griffin Neem, with the 9 being Reece Robson. Back row, John Bateman and Cohen Hess shifts in from the 17 into the starting 12, with Ruben Cotter as the 13. Interchange, Marley Bitungane, Caden Lars, Kai O'Donnell and Jamal Shibasaki coming in from the 21 onto the bench, with the 18th man replacement being Jackson Polo, and the coach is Todd Payton. Cowboys, they just simply haven't been good this season. They are in 12th position for a reason. They give up a lot of points, and they actually haven't been scoring a great deal of points, except for last week when they beat the Dragons, I think 38-32. Overall, I'm tipping the Sharks here today. I think that the wet weather is going to make it a 1-12 game. I think that the Sharks should realistically be able to win, but guess what? We don't know shit. We don't know shit about the NRL this season. We're seeing upsets left and right. We're seeing a fantastic rugby league competition where everyone is still a chance, whether it be for first, whether it be for top 4, whether it be for top 8, whether it be for the wooden spoon. Gee whiz, we are just seeing a rock and a rolling season. But the game has started. The Sharks will receive the ball first, and Adam Fanor-Blake brings it out to the 15. Now, let me quickly run through the ladder here, because it is very important. The Cowboys, they're in 12th position. No, they're in 13th position with the Tigers winning. Cowboys are on 19 points. If they lose this game, they will finish off the round in 13th. If they win this game, they will actually jump into 11th above the Dragons, who are on 20, and also jump above the Tigers, who are on 20. They will go on to 21 points there, the Cowboys. So their season's done. They're not making the top 8, but at the end of the day, a win here will pretty much guarantee them avoiding the spoon, being on 21 points. And if they lose, like I said, they'll just finish off in 13th position. If the with the Sharks, they're on 8th position on 26 points. 4 tackle for the Sharks of the 40. Sharks are on 8th position, equal with the Dolphins on 26 points, but the Dolphins have a plus 171 and they have a plus 23. They win this game. They go above the Dolphins in the 7th. They will be equal with the Broncos on 28 points, but they've got a points differential of plus 124. So the Sharks would finish off in 7th position, but only 2 points out of the top 4, with the Broncos, the Panthers, and the Warriors obviously being within 2 points there. First tackle here for the Cowboys, and they're at the second tackle, third tackle at the 30-metre line on their own side of the field. So the Sharks, they have a chance to go 7th, but they'd put themselves within range of the top 4, and they'd be really jumping away from the 4 points of Roosters and Manly, who are sniffing around that top 8. If they lose this game, however, they will stay in 8th position, but they're only 2 points away from the Roosters and Manly, and Roosters have a plus 20, Manly plus 6, Sharks plus 23. So their top 8 credentials would be very, very risky with a loss here. So a huge result here for the Sharks if they win, but if they lose, Manly and the Roosters are chomping down at the bit. But guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. The Sharks are with the ball at the 25, 2 minutes in here, first tackle, and it's Sione Katoa now, second tackle, bringing it out to the 30. Let's get this chat up, and penalty to the Sharks. Penalty to the Sharks for a high tackle against the Cowboys. Courtney says, hi, hello Courtney, how you doing? Nick Hill, evening all, get around here Nick Hill. Lagan says, not too much to say about the loss today considering the weather, on to the next. Well, the Tigers still played the same conditions. The Tigers still played the same game, but with that being said, I get where you're coming from. I understand that Dogs fans aren't going to want to look too heavily into that, but we're saying that a lot about the Dogs, man. We are providing a little bit of excuses for them in a lot of games, and we are saying, like, oh, don't look too heavily into the loss. Like, at the end of the day, they're top 4. But, you know, the Tigers are still a bottom 4 team, played in the same conditions as you, and they did get a good score. They did get a good win over you. So I still think we definitely need to be talking about the Dogs and their issues there. But at the end of the day, I understand you want to try to avoid that one, and I get it. So third tackle here at the 28. The Sharks, Blake Brayley off to Will Kennedy. Kennedy off to Teague Wilton. And Teague Wilton's going to be 20 metres out in fourth tackle. What I want to see from the Sharks today is their attack. Oh, what was that? I don't know what that was. I want to see the Sharks attack here today. I really do, because last week was really deplorable. Rabbitohs really admirable in their defence, but Sharks didn't really throw much at them. At least it's not pouring down rain at Sharky Park comparatively, but the grounds are still very wet. Braden Trindle, William Kennedy over the top here, touched by the Cowboys. Ronaldo Mulatalo pushes off 1, pushes off 2. It's going to be 6 again though for the Sharks. They're going to be 5 metres out, and that arguably is a penalty. No, they didn't call it. 0 tackle here for Cronulla. Braden Trindle. That was nice there though to see the Sharks trying to spread that ball out to the wing, and if it was just a little bit higher, it would have been a try for Mulatalo. But luckily the Cowboys were able to stop it. Adam Fanua-Blake right up the middle. He's going to be 1 metre out. 1 metre out from the line. Third tackle. They roll it back to Blake Brayley, who gets it off to Nico Hines. Nico has been good in the last month and a bit, except for last week. Wasn't great. Now Blake Brayley kicks it through. Braden Trindle, easy try for the Sharks. Straight away. 4-0 with a kick to come, Cronulla. That is a big old try to get them off to a great start. Sharkies. That's ominous. Ominous signs. That is ominous signs. The captain goes down with the ship. I'm telling you, if the Sharks win today, I know they're playing the Cowboys, but I would consider taking them off. If they win by enough here today, I reckon you could consider taking them off a fraud alert. Because they would have won 3 or 4 games on the trot. I know that last week wasn't impressive against the Rabbitohs, and this is a game against a Cowboys team that is lower. But, you know, they did beat off the Roosters. They did beat off the Dolphins, who are in a similar position. They did beat off the Rabbitohs. You know, take that word literally if you want. Don't really care. And then, yeah, their last lot's coming against the Storm and whatnot. But, like, overall, they had a really bad month and a half. A bad month and a half. They won the game against the Storm 31-26. And then round 12, they lost 42-16. That was bad. Had a bye. Lost the Warriors 40-10. That was bad. Beat the Dragons 30-18, but they were down 18-0 at halftime, came back to 30-18. That was still a pretty bad game, but they got the win. Lost the Broncos 34-28 when they were up like 24-6 or 24-8 at halftime. That was bad. Lost the Storm 30-6. That was bad. But then beat the Dolphins 24-12 after a bye. 31-18 over the Roosters. 14-12 over the Rabbitohs. If they can win this game by like 20 odd points, 13 plus, I'd be pretty happy to probably start thinking about taking them off it. They could easily go back onto it next week with the Dragons, but I would say they beat them. But 6-0 to the Sharks, 5 minutes in. Dion says they've been on fraud for so long. Wrong. They were on scam for a long point of the season. They were on scam, but they are just on fraud at the moment. But they were on scam for the majority of the season. Jay says, scoreboard, mate, when you get a chance, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Casey says, good on the old Tigers. Yeah, the old Tigers. The Tigers. John says, talk about a flip a coin game. Both teams have brilliant game breakers. Disagree. I think the Sharks should convincingly win this game. I don't think the Cowboys should have a chance. You look at so the Cowboys are going to kick this ball off here to the Sharks. I'm going to go to the ladder in a second. The Sharks will get this ball here at the 10. Braden Trindle gives it off to Oren Kafusi, and he'll bring it out to the 15. Not convincing Kafusi as a player for the Sharks. I think there's a bit of an issue there. But anyway, I don't know why I just gave him a little bit of slander, but I think he needs to do a lot more for the Sharks team. Second tackle at the 22. Look at the table. So the Sharks have scored 435 points this year through 19 games. The Cowboys have played 19 games, have scored 406. So the Sharks are still beating them out by about 30-odd points on the attack, and it's like the Sharks, or what's a knock-on there from Cronulla at 33? You will see a few knock-ons on this weather. But, you know, despite the fact the Sharks haven't been really known as a massive attacking team for a long time, they've been a very good defensive team through previous years. The Cowboys have been known as a very attacking team compared to the Cowboys being a very bad defensive team for a few years. Sharks are still beating them out by 30-odd points, despite the fact that they're not exactly that spectacular on the attack. Whilst the Cowboys, they've given up 563 points this year. The Sharks have given up 412. That is a 151-point gap in regards to how many points they've given up through the exact same amount of games. That is a lot. The Cowboys' 563 is the worst defense in the league, and that is with an extra game played over the Rabbitohs. Same amount of games played as the Titans and Eels and Tigers and whatnot, but it is the worst defense in the league by a little bit. And they're in 12th. So I think that the Sharks have no excuses here, and they should be putting a score on. The wet weather might make it closer, but I wouldn't be saying this should be a 50-50 coin flip game. So John Bateman now at the 25 will be third tackle. Like, again, the Cowboys won 38-32 last week, but yet they still conceded 32 points in that win. So fourth tackle now for the Cowboys, and they're going to be at the 20. Casey says, F. Moy, it looks like there's no one there at the game. Well, look at the weather. There was no one there at the Eels game, at the Tigers game as well. There's no one really at the Dragons game yesterday as well. Look at the weather, dude. The weather's really bad. Fifth tackle for the Cowboys, 15 metres out. Knock on. Knock on from the Cowboys. And the Sharks will get this ball here at the 10 from a knock-on. Brent says, yo, did the Dogs go in fraud after losing to the Dogs? Well, the Dogs definitely did lose. They lost to the Tigers. But yes, the Dogs have gone into fraud alert, yes. The Dogs have gone into the old fraud alert for sure. They did lose to a bottom four Tigers team, so I think it is justified. But a lot of Dogs fans will try to avoid it because of the weather. So second tackle now for the Sharks, and they will get this ball out to the 20. I wouldn't assume too many people would care too heavily about this game. Cronulla don't exactly have a massive fan base, and the Cowboys fans have probably clicked out for the year. They're probably... Oh, Nico Hines right inside. Jesse Ramian at the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45. He's got Molotalo. What are you doing? Oh, he got the ball to Britton Nakora. Wrong pass, though. I think he probably should have got that ball off to the winger. It was actually Santa Katara on the wing, not Molotalo. But Nico Hines gives it to Adam Fanor-Blake, and Adam Fanor-Blake's going to be at the 25. Yeah, Casey, Dogs versus Dogs, what a game that'd be. Yeah, it's typical Brenton. Typical Brenton. And now Blake Brayley puts it to Nico Hines. He puts that into the air. I think that's a knock-on Sharks. Yeah, knock-on from Jesse Ramian. So it will be Cowboys ball here at the 10. Dion says, so happy my Tigers got a win. What a day. Yeah, fantastic win for the Tigers. Fantastic win for the Tigers. No one really gave them too much of a shout. I tipped the Dogs 1-12, but I saw a world the Dogs would come in and absolutely slap them and say 13+. But at the end of the day, the Tigers came in and gave them a touch-up. You know, they won 13+. And, you know, the scoreline, whilst it is correct, the Tigers were clearly the better team. They were up by about 20 points without that last try for the Dogs in the dying seconds that meant absolutely nothing. So the Tigers had a convincing win. It was in wet weather, and the Dogs are very infamous for not playing wet weather. They just got to hope the grand final's not during rain. They've got to hope that the finals aren't during the rain, otherwise the Dogs are gonski. Very well known for being poor in the wet weather. So fit tackle and Jackson Purdue will kick this ball to about the 25. Oh, Cowboys actually catch it and will get the off-foot away, and it hits back at the 30. And now that's a forward pass. Well, that's a forward pass. Yep, there's a forward pass from the Cowboys. So Sharks get the ball at 25. Shaggies get the ball at the 25. I don't expect this to be an extremely exciting game here today. We don't expect it to be extremely exciting, but then again, we've seen some exciting games where no one expected them to be. Titans, Panthers, Dragons, Raiders. Oh, Dragons, Raiders wasn't extremely exciting, but it was very close. And an upset. All right, Sharks now. Blake Brayley off to Cameron McInnes, and McInnes is going to get this ball to the 35. 10 minutes gone here in the first half, guys. 30 minutes to go with the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. 6-0 to the Sharks. Molitalo brings it to the 43. Nice to see him give the old fortnight a break for today to come and play with the Sharks. 4th tackle now for Oren Gafusi. He'll be in the attacking half. Blake Brayley off to Trindle. Trindle off to Adam Fanor-Blake. And Adam Fanor-Blake will get it to the 35 on 5th tackle. So, but it's also 6 again on 5th tackle too for Cronulla. That's huge. It's also really beneficial for the Tigers because they have a bye next week. That bye next week comes in at the perfect time. It's a real perfect timing for the Tigers bye, which solidifies themselves away from the spoon. It gives their fans a tiny bit of hope for the finals, but it's just not happening, lads. It just isn't happening. All right, so McKenna's here at the 10. Bretton says, how did you feel after eating that dog last night? Not great. It didn't taste good. I only had like a tiny little bit of it anyway. But not great. Braden Trindle off to Teague Wilton, and he'll be 7 metres out, 4 tackle. 11 minutes in. Sharks, you're going to start really dominating to show who you are. Short ball. 2 metres out. He did well to hang on to that one there, Cameron McInnes. Now, Blake Brayley out to Trindle. Trindle, they've already scored already, but that will go 7 tackle set for the Cowboys. Too hard of a kick there. Yeah, not bad, but not great. It wasn't fantastic. But that's what you do when you travel, man. You try shit that you would never try. I would never do that again, to be fair, though. I still also have... somewhat doubt about the legitimacy of it all. But first tackle now for the Cowboys at the 35. Cronulla, 64% possession, 36% for the Cowboys. Yeah, it looked boiled in that bag it came in. It wasn't like... Yeah, it was weird, dude. It just was really weird. Third tackle here at the 48. But that is Asia. They have some weird shit. They have great tasting food, but they also have some really weird shit. Especially like China and stuff. Out to the left-hand side, Jackson Purtune, knock on Cowboys. And Cowboys have made a few mistakes here already. And Jesse Ramian now 0 tackle, gets the ball to the 45, the 40, 35 on the Cowboys side of the field. Sharks with the ball. Down says Tigers finish 11th would be best in years. Tigers just to avoid the spoon is a positive season. They've won the spoon 3 years in a row. If they can avoid the spoon, it's a positive season. If they can avoid the... I just care about them avoiding the bottom 4, mate. Adam Fanor-Blake, he'll get this ball to the 28 on 2nd tackle. And Blake Brayley, it didn't have a great game last week, Brayley. He's probably been the Sharks' best player this year. He's been really good to watch. And Sharks at the 20 on 3rd tackle. They're getting plenty of opportunities here, but this is what happened last week with the Sharks. They just couldn't really score a great deal. Rabbitohs just kept holding them out. And now CSF Talakai, another big in as well. He'll get this ball to the 10, 4th tackle. Preston was Daz and Mitch going out in the last game. Mitch wasn't here. I feel like Mitch must have been at the game. But Daz was here. He wasn't too happy. Will Candy will run it to about 5 metres out. 5th tackle for the Sharks. 6 again for Cronulla. That's a penalty. They might take the 2 here. They might take the 2 and take an 8-0 lead. Casey says, I'm honestly thinking about not following the NRL anymore. The officiating is getting ridiculous. There's got to be an investigation. That's a great comment, mate. But unfortunately, we'll see you next week. We'll see you on Thursday. Everyone always says this. You can say that all you like, and whilst I don't disagree with you, the officiating is absolutely dog shit across the board, especially when we saw that game yesterday. But at the end of the day, you will be here on Thursday and we will complain again, and then you will be here on Friday and we will complain again, and then the week after you will complain and you'll be back again. Yeah, see you on Thursday, Casey. Exactly. It's a good game too. Storm Broncos on Thursday. The Storm are getting all the Thursday night games recently. They had the game... The Storm played the Roosters this Thursday. They played the week beforehand. No, sorry, they played the Eels on Thursday. And the week before that, they played the Roosters on Thursday. Next week, they play the Broncos on Thursday. And the week after, they play the Panthers on Thursday. And then they've got a couple of Friday night games against the Bulldogs and the Roosters. And then they play the Broncos again on Thursday. So the next 5 weeks, you're just going to see Storm Thursday, Storm Thursday, Storm Friday, Storm Friday, Storm Thursday. And anyway, the Sharks will get the penalties with its 8-0 to Cronulla 15 minutes into the game. No, I'll see you on Thursday. No, you will not. No, you... Well, actually, technically, you're right, because I don't see you, but you see me, so actually, technically, you're right there. But it's an unfortunate situation. Infinite Kiwi says, with bells on, you get the bells out. Get the bells out. Also, I'll see you on Thursday. Sure, but you're the one who said you weren't going to watch. You're the one who said you're giving up on rugby league. You never give up on rugby league. Rugby league's the greatest game of all. Sifa Talakai will get the sport to the 25. All right, enough flirting and kissing each other in the chat. First tackle here at the 28. And Blake Brayley, short ball to Ronaldo Mulatalo. He'll be at the 35, second tackle. But yeah, at least we've had... I know this game could be an absolute fizzler to end the round, but it's been an outstanding round. And 4 tackle at the 45 for Blake Brayley. And you know what tells me a lot about this round? It was such a fantastic round. Probably one of the best rounds we've seen in a very, very long time. And the Knights weren't playing. I think that tells us everything we need to know, Brenton. And that's not even banter at this point. I think that tells us everything we need to know. The time when every game is a really good game for the most part, not all every single game. Drinkwater, good grab, but we take it up to 15, and it's going to be a penalty to the Sharks, an escort. A penalty to the Sharks for an escort against Cowboys. I feel like this is going to be a blowout game today. Disagree with me, Brenton. Tell me why. Tell me why I'm wrong here. The greatest round of this season has probably been this round, and the Knights weren't playing. I think that tells you everything you need to know. So Sifa Talakai off to Braden Trindle, and then Cameron McInnes, he'll get the ball to the 13 on first tackle. Brent says, mate, we've been putting on the vast games the last few weeks. That was a belter. And yeah, you're definitely drunk. Second tackle here at the 7. Old mate's definitely had a few beers. And Nico Hines, Adam Fanil Blake. Try time for the Sharks. Basically next to the post. It's going to be a 12-0 game with the ball kick to come. It's about to be 14-0. Cowboys fans, I reckon it's time to go to bed. I reckon it might be time to go to bed, Cowboys. But yeah, so I'm going to try and figure out what Brenton was saying here. Mate, we have been putting on the WAS games the last few weeks. That game was a belter. Okay, Knights, Warriors, that was... Okay, that was one game. Have you got another game for me? and you did lose it. But have you got another game for me? You've been putting on great games, have you? Okay, let's go through your recent games here for the Knights, shall we, Brenton? Shall we, Brenton? Shall we do the dance? Shall we do the tango right now? Let's do the tango. Okay, so your last game, belter. 44-18 loss to the Raiders. Belter. 20-15 loss to the Warriors. That was a really good game, really close game where the Warriors won. Week before that, the Storm won 32-14. Oh, mate, that was a ripper game. That was just unbelievable. That was unbelievable. It was a close game against the Rays. You lost that game 22-18, but a close game. Well, so to go on your comment, out of the last 3 weeks, you've lost by a combined... Wait, 1 second. 26, 31, 49 points. In the last 3 weeks, you've lost by a combined 49 points, Brenton. So I'm going to have to politely disagree with you, but I will give you that Warriors game. Well, you still lost. Nico Hines will kick the ball through the post. And it is 22 minutes to go of the first half, 14-0 Sharkies. Legacy nap time, mate. Jay says Cowboys remain scoreless. Well, yeah, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him. Does anyone have anything against me taken off the Sharks from fraud alert today if they win by 20 points or more? And tell me why otherwise. Brent says, what was the week before the WAS? That was a loss by 18 points to the Melbourne Storm. Lost by 18 points against the Storm. But at least, hey, I've enjoyed watching you buy this week. I have. I've really enjoyed that. So Oregon Kafusi gets his ball to the 15, first tackle. I don't disagree with the Roosters being robbed, but that was outside the last month. Second tackle, that was about 2 months ago. Maybe a shark. Oh, Casey, you got yourself timed out for 5 minutes. Yeah, Jay slapped him. You can't talk about the Fitty Bomb until the Thrifty 30. Sharks have not missed a tackle in the first 19 minutes here. Cowboys have already missed 6. Joe says, Brenton, you mean Robson to the Roosters? No, he's saying that the Roosters got a robbery against the Knights in that game with the Dom Young try is what he's suggesting. So 4 tackle now, Will Kennedy. But you're also right, Robson to the Roosters. You're also right. All right, so Braden Trindle now kicks his ball into the corner where Motatalo chases it. It's a pretty strong line there from the Sharks, though. And the Cowboys are going to bring this ball out here to the 15. Chases Sean, it would, but it also wouldn't. Sean said, that'd be nice to see that. Oh, Cowboys remain scoreless. So far, nobody's gone against me in saying that the Sharks got a fraud alert with a win by 20 points or more. 20 minutes to go here at the first half, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe. Sharks up 14-0 with 20 minutes left of the first half. Cowboys has just been making a ridiculous amount of mistakes, and Cronulla trying to really solidify their top 8 chances. Brent says not everyone can beat the Dolphins. Yeah, that's true, Brent, but clearly not everyone can beat the Titans too, eh? Fifth tackle now for the Cowboys at the 40. Hey, not everyone can beat the Roosters too, you know? Don't you come for me. Don't you come for the mighty Gold Coast Titans, son. I got you. I got your number this year. This year, you got nothing on me, actually. This year, I got the wood on you, Mr. Eslick. Brent says, just ask the Waz, please. Yeah, sure, mate, sure. But I seem to remember 2 Titans games this year. Haven't won many games this year. But we have beat a team twice. So third tackle. We've actually only beaten one team both times. Do you know who that team was? Sharks now. Give it to Adam Fanor-Blake, and he'll be at the 45 on the Cowboys side of the field, fourth tackle. Bittengun is going to get his debut in a moment. Sharks here right inside. They're away. Sione Katoa, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. Sione Katoa will be 2 metres short of the line, fit tackle. Sharks very close to putting on a 20. A Twez. Might be coming up now. Nico Hines. He'll kick that ball across. It's Molitalo there. It's come out the back. Sharks kick it to the corner. It's going to be too hard. And it's going to be... Was it a knock-on cow? Oh, wow. That water is flooding at Shark Park. That is flooding. Did the Cowboys knock this ball on, or is this 7 tackle set for him? I don't know if that was a knock-on from the Cowboys, or it was just straight up just a knock back from the Sharks. I think they're giving the ball to the Cows. I can't see because they're just showing the highlights of what just happened. Geez, that is a lot of water there in the corner. Yeah, it is Cowboys ball at the 28. Now 35 for Marty Bittengun. And it'll be first tackling at the 25. Jim Master, who do you support for the Titans coming to the comp? Well, I was very young and living in Brisbane, so it was probably going to be the Broncos. But I liked the Sharks, my mum. I would have become a Broncos fan. Because there was no Titans, there was no Dolphins, there was no team in Southeast Queensland except for the Bronx. Cowboys here, right-hand side, second tackle at the 13. Geez, they've made a lot of meters here on this set. I never really got behind Manly for my dad. 1 second, Sharks should concede here. Cowboys, you should have passed that ball to the left. You had it. Third tackle at the 10. Third tackle at the 10. They had massive numbers on the outside just then. Robson right inside of Dearden. Dearden kicks it through. It's going to be a dropout. Dropout from the Sharks to the Cowboys. So, yeah, would have been a Broncos fan. But obviously I moved to the Gold Coast at the perfect time when the Titans came into the competition. And then grew up on the Gold Coast. And my first ever game by myself, when it was going to a game by myself, was actually with the Legion at the time, now the Frontline. So that's how I became into the Titans. And, you know, I will always claim I'm from the Gold Coast. Joseph says, final score, Sharks 26, Sharks 34. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, so the Sharks are not playing the Sharks here today. The Sharks are actually playing the Cowboys. And the Sharks are coming out 14-0, and the Cowboys have knocked the ball on more times than slices of bread when you go down to the bakery. So I'm not too sure if we're going to be saying that. Especially in a Sharks team that usually are a pretty good defensive team outside of this. Like this year, they haven't been great defensively. But for the most part of the last 5 or so years, the Sharks have been a very good defensive side. Last year and the year before that, definitely. It's just that they couldn't do it in the finals. Cowboys keep finding space on the left-hand side but not passing it. So now right-hand side, and Bitungane will be 18 metres out for tackle. Who's big? Oh, Brenton's getting timed out for a minute. He's getting timed out for a minute. Saying that I'm a Bears fan. You're definitely getting timed out. Grassy McGrath with a big play. Gets the ball at the 25, but luckily for the Cowboys, it was backwards. We'll see in a minute, Brendan. And Dearden, good flick pass there. They should have numbers. This is a great try. Oh, they've knocked the ball on, the Cowboys. They've knocked the ball on. It was going to be a great try, but they knock it on. And what was I talking about with those knock-ons? Dion says, if they say 14 plus, they should have come off fraud. Yeah, well, I did say before the game, if they win this game 13 plus, despite against the Cowboys, I do think they should come off a fraud alert. I would nearly be happy. As long as it's not a super close game like that Rabbitohs game, I'd nearly be happy to just take them off if they win this game. But you said, okay, so you meant Cowboys 26. Well, Okay, so you've put the Cowboys first then at 26 and the Sharks second at 34, but the Sharks are the home team today. So do you understand that confusion now? Joseph, do you understand that confusion now? Because usually you'd put the home team first. Well, referee, if you're talking to the Cowboys and they haven't packed the scrum yet, the scrum clock has just gone. The siren just went. That should have been a penalty, Cronulla. Sione Katoa, he's going to bring this ball out to the 20. It'll be first tackle. So yeah, you put the Cowboys first, but they should be second. And yes, but 26 points for this Cowboys team right now is not looking pretty good. Please don't encourage him. Put my hands up, mate. I put my hands up. So the Sharks, it'll be third tackle here at the 30. 15 minutes to go here of the first half. Joseph has definitely had a couple. He's had a couple. Yeah, had a couple of whiskey bombs. Maybe a couple of Jaeger bombs. Hey, you can't blame him. After such a fantastic weekend of rugby league on a Sunday, watching a bit of a dribbler here, where the footy, get him down. You know, I think Brenton and Joseph are both drinking together at the Newcastle pub, somewhere in Marylands or something. So Cowboys at the 8, and Scott Drinkwater brings it out to the 18, first tackle. Now, see, look, Brenton's trying to compete with him for how many beers they've had. And Cowboys second tackle at the 20, not a good run there at all. Not a good run at all. See, I want to open this Coke Light, but if I open it, I have to hold it the whole time because it's got one of the bottom part where it's a knock on from Cowboys. How many knock ons they've had in this 26 minutes? It's a lot. It's a lot, shot blocker. All right, let's have a look here. How many knock ons have they had? Oh, I hate clicking on ads when it loads. There has been 5 errors from the Cowboys in the first 26 minutes. Not a pretty stat. Not a pretty stat. Oh, there's a new invention called a glass, Jay. Wow, is that right? But that means I'd have to stand up and get... Oh, no, actually, I do have a glass back here, don't I? Do I have a glass back here? Do I? I do. Oh, Jay, you're a smart man. First time you ever said anything smart. You know, you're like the Albert Einstein of the rugby league community. First tackle with the Sharks, 25 metres out. Now Sione Katoa to the 18, second tackle. You may not have heard of it. Look, it's actually it's spelt differently and pronounced differently in Vietnam, so that's why, I haven't learnt Vietnamese yet, Joe. Third tackle here at the 13. I probably know more Thai than Vietnamese. Braden Trindle. Yeah, but see, this is the thing, Jake. You're full of it. Fourth tackle here at the 5. Now I've still got this much of it left, and I can't... Oh, my gosh. I'm going to have to skull it. Nico Hines at the 10. Short ball. Teague Wilton. He'll be 2 metres out. Fit tackle. And knock on from Cronulla. Knock on from the Sharks. CJ, you're making me become a Diet Coke-aholic. See, I had to think of that one. Now I'm the smart man here. Look at me go. I'm for line. All right, so knock on there from Cronulla at the line. So it's going to be Cowboys 4 to 10. Maybe have a cup of water. What? What are you talking about? Let me say he had to finish his homework. We all do. Lagan says, of course, the sun starts to come out after the Dogs game. Here comes the excuses, eh, Lagan? The Tigers played in the same conditions as you did, Lagging. The Tigers and Bulldogs played in the same conditions. I don't know if you know this, but they don't play on like 2 separate fields. Second tackle for the Cowboys at the 20. Robson left-hand side, and now they'll be at the 28. Also, these conditions are still very slippery and very muddy at Shark Park. Like, look how much water there was when you saw Sia Sivitalakai go over to the sideline. Fourth tackle, 12 minutes left here in the first half. And Cowboys now fit tackle at the 48. You had a Starbucks cup. Did have a Starbucks cup, but I don't want to mix that with the little remnants of the mango drink that I had. You're a sicko. William Candy at the 5, brings up the 10, 15, and gets it to the 20 on first tackle. Excuses are definitely coming out today. Well, why? What's the excuse, Logan? Please explain to me your excuse so that I can rip into them. Second tackle now for the Sharks, Molatalo. Jeez, you can see him talking shit in the tackle with John Bateman there. Oh, he's lost the ball. No, it's a penalty. It's a penalty there for the Sharks. John Bateman gives away that one. Screw wet weather, that's the excuse. Okay, let me just reply to you for the 74th time. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. Did the West Tigers play in the same conditions as the Canterbury Bulldogs today? Eats dog but can't wash a Starbucks cup. Gee whiz. Well, what do you want me to do? I'm sitting here streaming. I hadn't even finished it yet during the last stream. I haven't even had a break in between the last game and this game. I'm just bloody flying through. I'm flying. How am I meant to go wash it? Well, you want me to leave? You want me to stop talking and leave? Go wash it in the... You wash it? What do you want me to do? I'm not a magician. Second tackle. I might be a magician, but I'm not a magician. So 10 minutes to go here the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. Right-hand side with the Sharks. They're at the 35. Nico Hines off to Britt Nakora. Britt Nakora pushes off one. And he'll be 22 minutes out third tackle. You sound menstrual. Oh, you're a gaslighter. That's a gaslighter right there. Nico Hines out to Jesse Colquhoun. And Colquhoun will be 20 metres away, fourth tackle. Lagans to the Tigers are a part of your imagination. No, definitely not. Nico Hines at the back now to Braden Trindle. Trindle at the back into Will Candy. Flicks it on to Mulatalo. Mulatalo 1-on-1. Oh, that's a beautiful try. That's a really nice try there from Cronulla. And Mulatalo will score in the corner. It's 18-0 with a kick to come. 18-0 with a kick to come. Mulatalo, Fortnite boy, will score in the corner. And they may be about to take a 20-point lead. JK57, can someone explain to me why the Cowboys not so on this year? One, I believe that Todd Payton's not a great coach. Two, they are really all over the shop in the halves department. I don't think that Jackson Purdue is really a half. I think he's a good centre. Tom Dearden's a great 7, but he needs a good halves partner in the 5'8". Scott Drinkwater is a very good attacker, but an awful defensive fullback. Their 2 through 5 is not convincing. Robert Derby and Braden Burns on the wings is not great. Braden Burns couldn't even get a crack at the Rabbits. And, Zach Laybutt is okay, but makes a lot of mistakes too. They've currently got Jeremiah Nene in the centres. And then you've got the front row forwards like Harrison Edwards and Griffin Neema aren't going to really scare you too much. Reece Robson's solid, but, what more can he really do? John Bateman is getting on. Cohen Hess is actually probably one of their tougher workers in the forwards. They've obviously got no Tamalolo, but his career is on the negative trajectory for sure. And then Ruben Cotter is a hard worker as well. I probably think he's more of a front rower than a lock, but at the end of the day, you can pinpoint through this game, how it's a bit all over the shop, and then the interchange between Garnier, Caden Lars, Kai O'Donnell, and Jamal Shamasaki. They just don't have a team that is going to be going up with the best of them, and I don't think that Todd Payton is a fantastic coach himself. So, again, as we've spoken about in recent weeks, I would have to go back and have a look at this point of the season right now. But if based off of the previous few weeks when we've been talking about it, the Cowboys... it's a good kick from the Sharks to make it a 20-0 ball game. 8.5 minutes to go of the first half. Sharks are probably coming off fraud alert today, lads. Because this has been a good performance from them too. This is what they should have done to the Rabbits last week, ultimately. But, so again, remove this game. Let's go back to last week when we were talking about it. The Cowboys are a very good attacking team in recent years. Very good attacking team. And then this year... At last week's game, they were 100 points worse off on the attack than what they'd been doing on the same time in previous years in 2024, 2023, and 2022. And 2022, yeah. Even in their years when they came 11th or something in 2023, they still were 100 points better off. So they obviously have lost their attack. And then you go to their defense, and the defense has been horrific the last, 3-4 years, despite the fact that they were in the preliminary final in 2022. And then obviously had an okay, not a good year in 2023, but a pretty good damn well year again in 2024. Their defense was still really, really poor, but 100 points differential again. They were worse off. So their defense was dreadful 2022, 2023, 2024, and then this year their defense has gotten 100 points worse off again. So both the attack and the defense have regressed very negatively, and the only reason the Cowboys were going well over the recent years was because of their attack, and they just don't really have a great attacking team right now. So do you understand what I'm saying? So the Cowboys now will get this ball here at the 3. It's Scott Drinkwater and he'll be taken down to the 5. And again, Scott Drinkwater's been really caught out being a bad defensive fullback but a great attacking fullback. You can't rely on Tom Dearden on a 27-game season to get the entire team going. Good offload there from the Cows. And now they'll get this ball to the 15. And it'll be a penalty here to the Cowboys. I'll play the ball to Sharks. Oh, it's a penalty to the Sharks here. Oh, bad play the ball. It's a penalty. Adam G gives a penalty to the Sharks. So the Sharks are going to get another attacking opportunity here in the first half. Will the Sharks jump the Broncos if they win? No. The Broncos have a plus 124. The Sharks have a plus 23. The Sharks would have to win by 102 points to go above the Broncos. So good luck with that. But for me, I think the Sharks are guaranteed top 8. Not off this game, but off of their run home. Comparatively to the Broncos run home, the Panthers run home, even so much to say the Dolphins and the Roosters and Manly will be 4 points below them. So I've got the Sharks as one of the only guaranteed teams down there at the moment. But they're all pretty much like the Panthers will make it, and the Broncos will make it, and Dolphins and Sharks will make it. I don't see Roosters or Manly making the 8. So third tackle here at the 8, Blake Brayley and Nico Hines underneath to Jesse Ramian. And I still genuinely believe the Sharks can make top 4 with their run home. Fourth tackle at the 8, Blake Brayley at the back to Will Kennedy. Kennedy steps inside. He'll be 3 metres away, fit tackle. And they kick it through. Played out there from the Cowboys. This is going to be 6 again for the Sharks. 13 metres out, first tackle. JK says the only year they were good was back then in 2022. Again, though, their defense wasn't fantastic that year, but their attack was absolutely flying. And then you just saw over the next couple of years, 2023, 2024, and now 2025, their defense has progressively gotten worse. And that's, here's an easy try for the Sharks. Sits for Talakai, flicks out to Mulatalo. That's a try time for Mulatalo. 24-0 with a kick to come. Sharks are getting a big win here. Sharks are getting a big win here, lads. 24-0 with a kick to come to Cronulla. So I'll go through this. We've got time. It's going to be a blowout. So we've got time here. So at round, we'll go round 22. So we'll start off at 2022 because the Cowboys 2021, they came like, I think 16th. Just in front of the Broncos. No, they might 16th or 15th. It was with the Broncos and the Bulldogs came last, or Tigers or something like that. No, it was the Bulldogs in 2021. Yeah. So at this point of the year in 2022, the Cowboys were in second. They'd scored 537 points and conceded 329 points. Actually, a pretty good defense, actually. And then 2023, at this point of the season, the Cowboys were in 8th position. 474 points scored and 426 points against. So again, that's a 100-point switch on both sides. They'd scored, what was it? Was it 564 in 2022? I'm going to go back and have a look again. 2022, they'd scored 537. And then in 2023, they then had scored 474. So they lost about 50 on the attack and lost about 100. They had 100 worse off on the defense. And then 2024... they were in 6th with 515 points and 486 against. So a little bit better than when we looked at this in round 19, 20 or something like that. So they must have scored a couple of big ones. Nico Hines here from the sideline to make it a 26-0 ball game. And that's exactly what he'll do. 26-0 to the Sharks. So then the Cowboys had 515 and 486. So their defense was actually probably similar. They must have had a pretty good couple of wins between round 20 to round 19 and round 21. But at the end of the day, the attack is still pretty damn well good. They're kind of getting themselves back into it, but still well away from what they originally were in 2022. And then their defense at 486 is even worse at 30. So now it's like a 100-point swingaroo. And then now at 2025, sorry, let's go back to 2024. 515 scored, 486 against. Right now, they are at 406 scored. So that means that is a 109 attacking points less, and their defense of 563 is about 100 worse than what the Cowboys were last year. And again, we saw a consistent defensive slide from 2022 onwards. So that's my response to your question. That's why the Cowboys, they're just continuously regressing defensively, and their attack has regressed dramatically. So fourth tackle now for the Sharks, and they'll get this ball to the 45, and now at the 50, Braden Hamnueli. He gets the offload away to Blake Brayley. Blake Brayley has Ronaldo Mulatalo, who's had a really good game so far. Scored a couple of tries. He's at the 40, fit tackle. Tom Hazelton, he's come onto the field here. He's been off for most of this year, hasn't he? When was the last time Hazelton played? Cowboys knock it on. Sharks are going to score again here. CSC for Talakai at the 10. Hit that to 5. He will be taking up 3 metres out, 0 tackle. Aaron says, come on to Cows. It's not going to be a good game for you today, unfortunately, Aaron. It's going to be a repeat set. Nico Hines kicks the ball on 0 tackle, and that's a knock on there from Sione Katoa. Don't like it, but I get it. Like, you're up 26-0. You may as well chance the arm. But, you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, a knock on there from the Sharkies. Broncos is down their field as muddy as. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole round in Sydney has been awful weather-wise. Awful. Awful weather-wise. Just awful weather was. Come on, guys, we're on 14 likes. Let's bump it up. Let's get up to at least 20 by halftime. I know this game not many people are going to care too much about, especially with the scoreline now, but let's bump it up to at least 20 by halftime. Mitchell says Caruso is coming off an NBA championship. That's why he hasn't played much. Mitchell, where's your take on the Tigers game? Where's your take? Well, Lagan's here. I'm sure Lagan and Daz would appreciate your opinion on that Tigers-Bulldogs game. Third tackle here for the Cows at the 40. Chase is definitely not field goal weather. Not really a good field goal weather game here. No, not really good field goal weather. Lagan says, would you say top 3 is locked up? Oh, knock on Cows. No, it's gone backwards, they say. And they get this ball out to the left-hand side. Braden Burns, he's got a bit of a hole. He'll be taken out the 45 fit tackle. Would I say the top 3 is locked up? Yes, but you play the Warriors next week. If the Bulldogs lose to the Warriors, then no. Will Candy, good take at the 30. If the Bulldogs lose to the Warriors next week, then no. Next week has got some belter games. I think it's 7 out of 8 games are really impactful. The only game that doesn't really matter is I think it was Cowboys and someone. Or Cowboys and Knights or something. I can't remember. Oh, Cowboys and Eels. No, there is something about that. There was a game when we looked at the matches next week that looked like it was going to be the only poor game of the lot, which probably ends up being the best game of the lot. 4 tackle at the 45. The rain has kick-started again. We are seeing a lot of rain again in Sydney. Fit tackle. Sports Zone says the Knights game will be a belter. Who's the Knights playing again? Who do the Knights play again? And that's going to be out in the full there from the Sharks. The Cowboys will get the ball up around the 40, I think it is. Are we still live right now, guys? It is pouring down rain. It is pouring down rain. Are we still live right now? Can you guys confirm for me? Expect rain all week. More is on its way. Yeah, can you guys just confirm for me that we are still live? And yeah, we are still good? Okay, sweet. I can't seem to update, to refresh the ladder and refresh the draw, so I can't see who the Knights play next week. Oh, that's right. The Knights play the Panthers, don't they? That's right, because that's the last game of the Panthers' easy stretch before they play the Bulldogs, Raiders, and Storm. Yeah, sweet. Thank you, guys. Second tackle at the 40. It is pouring down rain, absolutely pouring. Live for the first game of the day. No, Daz, no, we were here. We did watch the game before. I think it might have been between the Tigers and the Bulldogs, and the Tigers got a big win, yeah. I was watching that one. 4 seconds left. Go for a field goal, Cows. Go for a field goal, you Cats. And that's going to be another knock-on for the Cowboys, and that will be the end of the first half. But the issue here is I don't know how I'm going to be able to read the team stats. Oh, I can read the team stats here. I'm going to try and see if I open up a different... Yeah, I don't know. It's not letting me actually... It's not letting me refresh over there. I might have to go and use it on my phone. I'm going to have to go look at my phone here for the NRL stats because I have to look at halftime on here on my phone because for some reason my computer's not letting me look at it. But guys, obviously hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Sharks are going to get a win here today. They're going to go off fraud alert for sure. Hold on. Maybe it is the internet. Maybe I am able to stream for you guys and the game's still going. It's just I can't get any stats up. Close all your prawn tabs. Don't tell me what to do, Jay. Timed out while waiting on cash. I don't know what's happening here. Computer's going schizo. I'm not even able to load maybe it's the NRL.com. Maybe, can someone see if they can go onto NRL.com? Because I can't seem to even get on NRL.com on my phone right now. But I'm still able to watch on the game. It's half time, so it's okay. But I just can't go through any of the stats. I just can't look at the stats. I can't even get on NRL.com. Dasmate says Sharks absolutely on fraud alert. Still, they should be beaten by the Cowboys by this much. Sure, but this would be 3 wins in a row. Yeah, look, last week was debatable, but I think that if they're winning this game by 13 plus or more, they should be coming off fraud alert. Jacob says, I'm confused. Why do you? Well, I'm confused. Why do you? Because I'm confused what that means. Lagan says, I blame Milford for this. Valid. It says server not responding. Yeah, okay, so it is the NRL.com app. So maybe this scoreline, yeah, because it's frozen there. I'm not even going to refresh it. I'm not going to refresh this because if I refresh that, it's probably going to not work. So yeah, maybe NRL.com app is just down and we can't use it. They might be just so scared about the Gold Coast Titans resurgence And us winning the comp. Oh, it's back up. Now it's working again. Now it is working again. So let's go through. Let's open it up and hopefully we can get into the stats. Not that the stats are going to be good if you're a Cowboys fan. It's updating just like the new game. Thank you, Jake. Give it a week. Freddie floats change after the trainer drama. Oh, really? Oh, really? Is it right? Wow. I would have liked to have seen... Well, I don't even know why there needs to be change because the rule is the team gets a kick from in front if there is a... Something like that. Okay, well, now it's not even loading. So it was loading and now it's not. I can't go through the stats. Cowboys fans, you should be grateful that I can't go through the stats because your stats aren't going to be good. They are not going to be good. Actually, I'm going to run to the bathroom here, guys, at half time. Whilst I don't have the ability to read through the stats, I'm going to run to the bathroom and I'll be back in just a few moments. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting the poll and keep telling Bulldogs fans that you did watch the game today and that game did exist. All right, guys, back in a second. Jeez, what a call. What a call by Mitchell. That was just a phenomenal call by Mitchell. That was really spectacular stuff, really. Really spectacular stuff. Probably the most exciting part of this game so far. I actually have liked the Sharks' performance, though. Let me see if the NRL.com app is working again. It is now. Okay, we can go through some of these stats. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but we are going to have to go through the stats here in this first half, and it's a bit of a yikes for you. All right, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Let's do the stats. So, possession-wise, Sharks, 64%. Cowboys 36%, but it's because the Cowboys are knocking the ball on a lot and giving the ball back here to the Sharks. The Sharks have 15 minutes and 57 seconds time in possession, whilst the Cowboys are 10 minutes and 3 time in possession for the Cows. Then you've got the completion rate, 86% for the Sharks, 20 from 23. In wet weather conditions like this, 75% is solid. They're at 86%, so that's very, very good. Only 3 incomplete sets. Cowboys, yikes, 57%. They're at 57% on the completion rate. That is 8 from 14. That just simply is horrific. Even in conditions like this, you can't be having a completion rate of 57%. They are literally at half of their sets are incomplete. That is why they are down by as much as they are. Now, all runs attacking, 109 runs here for the Sharks for 908 run meters. Cowboys, honestly, you don't want to listen to the halftime stats here. Cowboys are at 60 runs for 454 run meters. That is That is not good. So, look, the Sharks aren't averaging out at the 10 metre. It's a 49 run gap. Well, let's be honest. It's a 49 run gap. The Sharks aren't averaging out of the 10 metres on average per run, but like 908 run metres for 109, you're not complaining. Whilst the Cowboys 60 for 454. They're not even at 500 metres. The Cowboys have not even run 500 metres. 60 for 454. They are well and truly under the 10 metres on average per run. They're probably aiming at around 7 metres per run. It's not good, 6-7. So yeah, 454, 908. There's a 49 run gap. If you want to be pedantic and you want to give them the 10 metres on average per run, to give them a similar amount of ball, that's 490 metres. That would put them above the Sharks, but there's just no point to do that because they're not averaging out at 1,040 metres with the ball in hand. It's just not even happening. So if you want to give them like 7 metres per run times 49, I'm not doing the maths there, but it's still probably well and truly under the Sharks. It's really poor from the Cowboys. Now, the post-contact is 333 metres for the Sharks, 156 metres for the Cowboys. Sharks are well and truly in advance there. Line breaks is 5-1 for Cronulla. Tackle breaks is 23-5 for Cronulla. So their defense has been on point. Only 5 missed tackles is very good. But the Cowboys are just awful. They really have been. And that's why they've got 23 missed tackles themselves. Average set distance. In wet weather like this, anything under 20, turn the stream off. 20 to 25 is disgusting and sickening. 25 to 30 is underwhelming. 30 to 35 is average, what you would expect. 35 to 40 is the great category. 40 to 45 is fantastic, and 45 plus is incredible. Perfect first half. The Sharks are at 39.48, so normally would be on an average tier, but in the wet weather, this is very good. It is on the upper end of great at 39.48, and they're very close to getting into the fantastic category of 40 plus. Average set distance, they're not doing anything wrong with that at all. The Cowboys at 32.44, which would normally be underwhelming. This is an average set distance. It's about a 7 metre gap between them and the Sharks. So, yeah, look, the Cowboys, they're doing whatever. They're just kind of getting through their sets, but they're not because they're incomplete. So, a lot of errors. Not a great stat line there for the Cowboys in any category so far. Then you got the average play the ball speed, 3.61 seconds for the Sharks, 3.35 seconds for the Cowboys is incredibly fast in these wet weather conditions. And that's probably why they're making a lot of mistakes. They're playing the ball too fast in wet weather. That is 3.35 in these conditions is like what you would see from a 3 second on the dot or 3.05 seconds in a normal game. That is really fast, whilst the 3.62 is a pretty normal speed for the Sharks, which is a telling point. Offloads is 4-3 Cronulla. Both teams not really offloading, but they've got a little bit of it. Forced dropouts is 1-0 Cowboys way. Kick defusal is 67% for the Sharks and 20% there for the Cowboys. And then you go down to the defense, and big telling point here for Cronulla. 92.81%. Anything above 90% is spectacular. Perfect first half. 88% to 90% is irregularity. 85 to 88% is underwhelming, and anything under 85% is not good. Sharks 92.81%. Not doing anything wrong there. 129 tackles made for 5 missed tackles and 5 ineffective. So an average amount of missed tackles in a game in the first half is a 15 to 17. They're at 5. The ineffective at 5 is also pretty damn well good. So only 10 bad tackles, but they also haven't had to make a great deal of tackles because the Cowboys keep making a lot of errors. They keep making a lot of mistakes and giving the ball to Cronulla. So that's why they've got 64% possession, and that's why you're seeing a limited amount of tackles made, a limited amount of missed tackles, and a limited amount of ineffective. The Cowboys at 88.85% as a collective. This is actually pretty good. That's in the solid category. 231 tackles made for 23 missed tackles and 6 ineffective. 23 missed tackles is well and truly above the average. That's really poor, even in conditions like this. And then 6 ineffective. At least they're limiting that. But we're talking about a Sharks team that has 10 bad tackles compared to the Cowboys who have 29 bad tackles. And that is where this game is clearly being shown as the 26-0 lead here for Cronulla. And the Sharks just have been pretty clinical. They've been way more clinical than last week, that's for sure. And then you go to the negative play. Anything under 4? No, in wet weather like this, like I'd say 5 and under. 5 and under or even 6 and under is acceptable. It's not bad. The Sharks are at 5, so I'm okay with that. It's very close to what it would normally be. 4 and under is usually a really good first half. They're at 5. I would say that's a really good first half regardless with these muddy, wet conditions at Cronulla. And then Cowboys at 8. That's probably on the average area of 6 to 8. But it's still pretty poor. 8 errors is still quite a lot. So 8-5 in errors. Then you go to penalties conceded, 5-0 against the Cowboys. They've all been warranted. Ruck infringements, 1-0 against the Cowboys. And inside 10 metres is 1-0 against the Sharks. So, overall, there's not a single good stat here that you can link with the Cowboys. Sure, their defence on an effective tackle percentage is 88.85%. But at the end of the day, their defence, they're down 26-0. There is not a good stat here for the Cowboys in any marker. And the Sharks are currently beating them by 460-odd metres. From the first half, the Cowboys aren't even at 500. They're at 454. So there's nothing positive I can tell you, Cowboys fans. Hopefully that you can turn it around in the second half, but you ain't winning this game. And for me, I've got the Sharks coming off fraud alert. Brenton says, I thought the game would have had a decent turnout. Nah, not this. You got to remember the weather, Brenton. There's no one here at Shark Park. The weather is horrific. There was no one at the Dragons-Raiders game. The weather was horrific. The Tigers game against the Bulldogs, weather was horrific. So, look, whilst I understand that you would expect better crowds, not this weekend. Scoreboard refresh, by the way, it's still 38-16. Oh, yeah, that's right, because the NRL app went down. All right, refresh that little bad boy. There you go. There you go. Actually, I've got it's not going to change anything on the table, that Bulldogs game. No, there's no point actually updating that later because you'll see the same thing. The fraud alert takes away the games played. Take away the game played. Jay says Cowboys could just not come out of the sheds for the second half. It's an option. It is an option for the Cowboys without their FFR. It is absolutely an option, mate. And Cowboys fans, I don't even think they're going to be upset with what I'm saying because if they've watched this first half, they know that it's been a rough one. It's definitely been a rougher one. Actually, I want to see what the comments are like about the Galvin game. I want to see what Tigers fans are saying. I reckon they were absolutely ripping into him. Luckily, he's got his... Luckily, he has his comments off on his own private Insta. All right, so I want to go see what they're... give me 1 second here. Let me just... And yeah, you just got to start again here, Cowboys. Oh, let's see, we go. NRL. I guarantee the first comment will be about Galvin. Let's go. The first comment is, Galvin just played his best game for the Tigers as a Bulldog. Knew it was coming. Let's all laugh at the Bulldogs button. Pretenders. Thank you, Tigers, on behalf of everyone. Galvin sat there and took all the beef like the good little girl he is. Nice. Well-deserved Tigers fans. Let's all laugh at the Dogs getting pumped by Tigers. Shame. Oh, man. They're getting roasted. Lachlan Galvin stars as the Invisible Man. Dogs pumped in puppy style. On behalf of all Raiders fans, thank you, Tigers. Galvin was too scared. Yeah, he's getting slapped. And some Cowboys fans said, who the hell's winning the comp? Nobody is my answer to you. My answer to you is probably nobody. My answer is no one wants to win the comp. No one. Check the Tigers score post. Oh, okay, what have you said, Daz? You've said something. So the Sharks and Cowboys are out in the field here. 26-0 Sharks at halftime. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. And the Cowboys are going to receive the ball here to 5, and Griffin Neem is going to run out here to the 15. All right, so I'm going to go look at the Tigers post. What have you said? You've said something. Tigers now get this. The Cowboys get this ball at 22. I don't think you commented, did you? Did you comment on this post, Daz? No, I didn't say anything. Tigers did. Oh, what'd they say? They said team first. Oh, that's shithousery at its finest, man. That is shithousery at its finest. Fourth tackle at the 35 here for the Cows, and John Bateman brings it to the 45, fifth tackle. Dom says, you'd be happy with the Geelong game? What was the score? Let me have a look. I honestly prefer the Sunnies to do well this year than the Cats. I've seen the Cats win, and I'm from the Gold Coast, but of course, I still want to see Geelong kill it. Yes, sir. 80-37. I'm not complaining. No, it's Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide have been shootouts this year. JC says Jaden Campbell deserves better than the Titans, but how good to see the cancerous Titans lock into the wooden spoon yesterday. Yeah, look, I still think the Rabbitohs get it, mate. I know you're trolling, but you're not going to get the reaction you want. I still think the Rabbitohs get it, man. Or even the Knights are a bit of a smoky, to be honest with you. I'm pretty confident that the Titans beat the Rabbitohs next week. If we lose that game, then yeah, sure, maybe. But at the end of the day, I was pretty happy with yesterday's performance, and unfortunately Unfortunately, disagree with a few of the calls and whatnot, but no, I think that I think the Rabbitohs should be pretty sure things for that with their injury toll and whatnot. But anyway, the Cowboys are going to get this ball here to the 25, now to the 35, and Braden Burns will be taken down at the 33. Brandon says, did Tigers fans do a standing ovation at half time? They probably should have. They were up 20. Well, they weren't up 20-0 at half time, but they're up 20-6 or 20-4. 20-4, I think it was. So they've kicked 12-14 as well. Could be a lot worse. Yeah, look, I think that this year's AFL comp, there's a few teams that could win it as well. I think it's more open in the NRL, but like definitely across the top 8. You know, you've got Geelong, you've got Brisbane, you've got Collingwood. The Adelaide Crows going well. Sunnies are doing well. So, yeah, there's a lot of teams that can win it there. Anyway, first tackle now for the Cowboys. Now second at the 35. Second at the 35. Oh, JC's been hidden. Well, you tried, JC. You tried, at the very least. So third tackle now for the Cowboys at the 25. John says it would take a monstrous effort for the Cows to turn this around and at least put up a decent fight even in these conditions. Well, the Titans did it yesterday. They were down 24-0 and came back to 26-24 before, obviously, controversy hit. But at the end of the day, you know, if you can do it. If one team can score in one half, then the other team can score the same thing. It's just that doesn't usually happen. This year's happened quite a bit, though. Fifth tackle here for the Cowboys at the 10. Kicks it through. Drop out. Sharks get it. 4 minutes old. Yeah, no, Jay, it's going to be the same guy from yesterday. But if that was the reaction he wanted, well, then good. I gave him what he wanted. But, yeah, if you want... like, I think people... I think they think, like... that I don't recognise what the Titans are. Like, the Titans are a shit team. And it's like, at the end of the day, I still support my shit team and I still support our community and I'll always be passionate. And I'll tell you my genuine belief on yesterday. I'm super proud and happy with how we performed and I believe that we deserved the win. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. That's the way the cookie crumbles. And the Titans still have a lot of problems in the club, but I don't believe we get the wooden spoon this year. I think there are much worse teams than us at the moment. So the Sharks get this ball here to the 20. It's Blake Brayley. First tackle. Same Muppet, same shit trolls. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to talk about it. Sean James says, Galvin only a puppy at this time who will grow into the dog we expect him to be. Oh, yeah, it's still very early. Penalty to the Sharks here. They actually got the short drop out and then a big penalty to the Sharks. Jared says, you'd think these trolls would come up with better material. Well, it's because usually they don't really have much going for them in their life. So they come on here to try and get like a reaction to make themselves feel relevant. And it's like, if you actually use the energy you do to troll and put it into something worthwhile, like maybe you could do something with your life. But like at the end of the day, like if people are going to come on here and talk shit, you can help my analytics all you like, and you can get us talking about the sport all you like. But I know the Titans are shit. I'm not here saying that they're not. At the end of the day, they're still second last. They've come fourth last 3 years in a row, and still could potentially get the spoon for sure. But I'm a realistic fan, and I understand what the Titans are, and I've been very happy with them the last 2 weeks, regardless of yesterday's result. So Braden Humminawelli will be second tackle here at the 50. Man of the people, how glorious! Who's the man of the people, Mitchell? All right, so Jesse Calhoun will get this ball to the 40. Like, a lot of Tigers are laughing at Galvin now, but they'll be crying in the next 5 years, I bet. Why? Fourth tackle here at the 35. Braden Humminawelli. 35 minutes to go here of the game. You don't need to put a seatbelt on for the rest of this one, lads. I feel like we're probably going to see probably a fitty bomb, but I can speak without you can't. So Braden Trindle kicks that one up into the air. Mulatalo chasing it through. Cowboys grab it, and they'll be taken down to the 3. This could easily be a really dreadful second half too, though, where it just stays at 26-0 or ends up being 32-6 kind of deal. Could easily be like that as well. You are by giving the man the reaction he wants. Well, if that's the reaction he wants, I hope he's got. He's like Michael Ennis during the Panthers game. Dion says Galvin won't be Bulldog for 5 years. He'll be different in a different team next year. Well, that's just not true, is it? They got rid of Toby Sexton for him. Second tackle down to 45. The only way that would happen, not next year, but the only way that would happen across the next 5 years if Galvin wasn't performing and then they wanted to debut Mitchell Woods. But I highly doubt that. So third tackle now for the Cowboys at the 38. They roll back here to Reece Robson. Off to Tom Dearden. Tom Dearden at the back now. And Cowboys 6 again. Now we're at the 28. Lagan's getting salty. He's not happy, the old Lagan. First tackle. Now Cowboys John Bateman, second tackle here at the 13. Dill Brown, Dally M 2026. Yep, Brenton's definitely had more drinks since we last spoke to him. And now Jackson Purge, short ball. Cowboys, 7 metres out, third tackle. Yeah, Dill Brown had a really good game for the Eels on Thursday. Third tackle. Robson, short ball. Fourth tackle, 3 metres out. Jay has found a way to poke it. Lagging, kicks it through. Try time for the Cowboys. Griffin Neem will score, and it's 26-4 here with a kick to come. Mitchell says Galvin really won't be the player people expect him to be if he stays at halfback. Well, who are you putting at halfback? You're putting Mitchell Woods there, so then if you're taking Galvin out, and again, this is ridiculous up to one game, but like if you take Galvin out of halfback and put him into the 5'8", well then what? So you're putting Mitchell Woods into the 7, then where are you putting Matt Burton? So try confirmed there for the Cowboys. Nice little kick there from Reece Robson. A future Sydney Rooster. And Griffin Neem will score a try right next to the post. That's his 20 Muppets. This one, I am saying this it's just conversation. Like I know that Galvin's not going anywhere, and one game's not going to change that. Olivia says Brenton is taking one for the team. Takes plenty for the team. Yeah, old Brenton. Plenty for the team. Well, at least the Cows have scored. Sharks, don't keep yourselves on fraud alert. You have to win this game by 13 plus to take yourselves off a fraud alert. You got to do it. You got to do it. All right, so Cowboys from basically right in front to make it a 20-point ball game. Oh my gosh, they're talking this Titans-esque, like the Cowboys come back against the Sharks. No, the Cowboys are not going to win this game against the Sharks. This would be the biggest comeback of all time alongside the Dolphins, mind you. 26-0 would be the biggest scoreline comeback, equal biggest scoreline comeback of all time. But it's just not going to happen. If the Sharks do that, I'm removing them from the comp. I'm removing them from the table if they do that. I will 100% remove you. I'm not even putting you on scam. You will go off of the table. But it's not going to happen. All right, so Sharks to kick this ball off here to the Cows. I did see that someone put on Instagram a video where there's like a hotel room that you can pay to stay overnight in that is literally directly above Shark Park, and you can watch the entire game from your room. Dom says, what do you mean equal? It's the biggest comeback ever. Incorrect. I'm not going to refer to what you want me to refer to, but you are incorrect. There has been a scoreline comeback of 26-0 before. So it would be equal. Logan Volsack says, do Knights have any developing future superstar halves in case Dylan Brown's number 7 phase folds? Oh, please don't encourage Brenton. He's going to start to... Every team has some good up-and-comers and whatnot now, and I'm something about some Voltano or something like that. So the Cowboys maybe get a penalty. I'm just trying to help you, mate. No, Dom. No, I can't do it. I've got to be honest, unfortunately. Have you ever heard of Fletcher Sharp lagging? Well, he's not a 7, though, is he? You wouldn't have Fletcher Sharp lagging at 7. He's more of a 6, no? A 6 or a fullback. Cowboys got an injury here. God bless him. I wouldn't say necessarily Fletcher Sharp. Would you say Fletcher Sharp is a 7 for the Knights? I know he can't really play fullback because you got Kalen Ponga unless you got rid of Kalen Ponga, and then that would make a lot of sense. But this is why I feel like they're going to have Dylan Brown 7 and then chuck Fletcher Sharp into the 6. He had played 7. That's great, but also Sam Verrills and Chris Randall have played 7 before, and I wouldn't be putting them into the 7. So unfortunately, injury for the Cowboys, and he's going to come off the field. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tackle. I think it's just unfortunate. He was a 7 all of his life before then. I just wouldn't necessarily, when I look at him, I don't really see him as a defining 7. I would say that he's definitely a floating 6. But sure, it is actually a penalty to the Cowboys. Jesse Colquhoun on report. They must have called it as a hip drop or something. Maybe. Must have called it as a hip drop. But Jesse Colquhoun on report, and the Cowboys get a penalty. That's great that he was a 7 all his life, but it's like AJ Brimo was a 6 coming through the ranks, and then obviously he's clearly a fullback. He's not in the halves. All right, so Cowboys with the ball. Cowboys with the ball. Who got injured for the Cowboys? That was Jamal, was it Jamal? No, it wasn't Jamal Sibasaki, was it? It was... I can't remember, bro. I wasn't even really focusing. But third tackle now for the Cowboys. If someone can remember who got injured just then, can you please let us know? 10 minutes into the second half here, guys. 30 minutes to go of the game. Hit that like button and subscribe. He has a great running game for a 6. Yeah, agree. But Dylan Brown's a 6. I would say Dylan Brown's more of a 7 than Fletcher Sharp, but Dylan Brown's definitely not a 7. Fourth tackle now for the Cowboys, and they're at the 23. And they'll go left-hand side. Anyway, it wasn't anyone like significant. With all due respect to the player, it wasn't anyone significant for JK. Fed tackle, Robson left-hand side, Jackson Purdue kicks it through. What is Kennedy doing? Taking that ball dead? It would have easily been a 7-tackle set, but instead it's going to be a dropout. Instead, it will be a dropout. Oh, they're arguing for interference here. Yeah, you could argue it. But it's not going to be a try by any means. You could maybe argue Jesse Ramian does grab into him. Oh, not really. No, it's just a dropout coming up here. Not really. All right, so Sharks to drop this ball out. Braden Trindle puts that one to about the 20. Good chase here from Cronulla. It's going to be knocked down from the Cowboys, but it goes backwards. 22 metres out, first tackle. Sharks dropouts 3, Cowboys 0. Well, if the Cowboys score here, maybe you could start getting a little bit of something behind the Cows' comeback. John Bateman, he'll get taken down to 5. Wouldn't surprise me if they let Sharp go, though. Why? Griffin Neem at the 3. A lot of 7 start 6. I think he'll get the best of Brown 2-3 years. I disagree. We've seen Dylan Brown play. That's going to be held up over the line. I think we've seen Dylan Brown play 7 many times for Parramatta. And I will say that I do not believe that, based off of any historical value or any recent history, that the Knights are very well known for being able to put guys into the halves. And I think that I don't know what you would be basing that on besides pure hope. And I believe that. I back that in. You're able to have pure hope. But at the end of the day, what are you basing Dylan Brown getting the best out of him in the 7 at the Knights when he wasn't able to get the best out of him in the 7 at the Eels? And it's like the Knights have had 750 halves over the last couple of years and not been able to get the best out of any of them. Cowboys now, Tom Dearden, it's going to be 6 again, and they're going to be 5 minutes out. Sub says no comeback. It's 80 minutes full. We've still got 28 minutes to go here of the game, mate. It's 26-6 for the Sharks. There's 28 minutes to go, and Cowboys are first tackle, 5 minutes out. Seems like a Newcastle thing to do. How does it, though? Based off of what? Based off of what? The Knights have had halves galore over the last few years and gotten nothing out of all of them. Cowboys taking up the 5, Braden Burns. He played for New Zealand as the 5'8". Jerome Hughes was the halfback. Cowboys taking up the 5, third tackle. Dylan Brown is the 5'8" for New Zealand. And it's going to be Cowboys knocked down here at the 3. 4 tackle. At the back to Jackson Purdue. At least we've seen a little bit better out of the Cowboys in the second half. That's a good offload there. It's 2-on-2 out in the right-hand side. John Bateman gets around a couple, and then he'll offload the ball at the back, and then it's a knock on Cowboys. That's on you, John Bateman. That's on you. It was such a stupid offload. It was so unnecessary, and it'll be a knock on Cowboys. Sharks ball at the 10. I like it, just wants reaction. Yeah, well, he knows what it means when he pleads for a reaction. He'll probably tell us he's not watching the game any moment now. Sean James is land fishing. Clock is on the screen. Yeah, the clock is on the screen. There is 27 minutes to go here of the game. You've got to blame John Bateman for that one, though. Contracts don't mean much today. Sure, but they mean a lot more than nothing. It doesn't mean nothing. Like, at the end of the day, unless there's a player option or a club option, it would be at the discretion of the club to release a player. If it's not a club option or a player option, the club gets the precedence of being allowed to a player to be released. Third tackle now for the Sharks, and they'll be at the 24. Second tackle in opposition, 2017 times the Cowboys, 0 for the Sharks. So at least the Cowboys have turned up a little bit more in the second half. Fourth tackle here for Adam Fanua-Blake, and he'll be at the 27. Make it the 30. JK says the Sharks are only leading by 20 points. The fact you say only leading by 20 points shows how different this game is to 10, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, but the Cowboys aren't good enough to come back from this. They really shouldn't be, and the Sharks should be in no world. Sharks should be in no world giving up this game. Scott Drinkwater now at the 30, be first tackle. What is that? Oh, I don't know what that was. Second tackle now for the Cowboys at the 32. I don't know what the hell is happening right now. I don't know what the hell noise I can hear. What's on the roof? I don't know what's happening. Welcome to Vietnam. Fourth tackle at the halfway point. Can you guys hear that through the microphone? And Will Kennedy will chase this one back. And that's going to be a great kick where Kennedy leaves it a little bit too long. And now he'll be taken down to the 3. Yeah, Sharks have been really underwhelming here in the second half. It's like they just relied upon that 26-0 lead. Sounds like tapping. Yeah, I don't know what it was. And now Siasi for Talakai, third tackle at the 10. Game's changed. I don't think the Cowboys are good enough to come back in this game and win it, but the game has clearly changed a lot. Sharks have just gone complacent. Massively complacent here. 25 minutes to go of the game. Again, the Sharks are winning this game, but they're going back into their previous bland style footy. Sound like the spirit of last night's dinner come back to haunt you. Maybe. All right, so Cowboys here at the 40. They'll bring back to the 45, then the 50, and it's going to be first tackle for Braden Burns. I would love the Cowboys to score again, though, make a game of this, because otherwise it's going to be a boring last 25 minutes. I'd love them to make a game of this. And Cowboys now at the 35, third tackle. Yeah, when the possession turns around, yeah, Blocker said something relevant for the first time. When the possession turns around, it was 64% to 36% in the first half, Sharks' way, but that was because of the Cowboys. Let's also really kind of hone in on that. Wasn't anything outside of the Cowboys just knocking the ball on. Now they're not knocking the ball on. They're actually making it relatively a game of it. Tom Dearden out the back here. Chance for try. Braden Burns has to stop in his tracks. Good scramble defense from Cronulla. They'll go to the right side. They should have numbers galore. Jackson Purge gets away from one. Jackson Purge is still going. Right-hand side here. Drinkwater has to cut back into the left. Wrong play. Not play that. Still fit tackle. And that's a forward pass. What the fuck, Cowboys? Cowboys, come on. Come on, Cows. That was good scramble defense from Cronulla. But, yikes, it was a bad end to the set there for the Cowboys. Yeah, Scott Drinkwater, dude. You got to have a bit more composure than that. It just throws the ball forward when they were still doing pretty well with the ball and then just threw the ball forward. Jake, I hope the game's going to be like the Titans yesterday. Nah, the Cowboys, it's wet weather conditions. I think the Sharks are still well and truly fine defensively. 70% possession in the second half to the Cowboys, 30% to the Sharks. With that, they should have scored more than 6 points in the first 17 minutes here with that kind of possession. That's a forward pass to the Sharks. The Sharks have turned a lot into a similar team to the Sharks have just really turned into the Cowboys in the first half. The Sharks have really started just making... They have definitely become complacent in the second half. The Cowboys are growing in confidence, sure. When you've got 70% of the ball in the second half, you should be scoring more than 6 points, though. So you're going to get another attacking opportunity. If you want any chance to prove that you could do a Titans from yesterday, then you have to score on this set. Because it's still a 20-point game right now. That's still over 3 converted tries. First tackle now at the 38. Robson out to Lars, and then... They're 32 metres away here, second tackle. Commentary is definitely circle jerking a big comeback, though. They keep referring to that Titans game yesterday. 6 again now for the Cowboys. You have to score here, Cows, with all this possession. You've got a ridiculous amount of possession. You have to score here. Out to Tom Dearden at the 25. Roosters and Manly fans, you really, really want the Cowboys to find a way to come back here. You really, really want them to come back. And Dearden goes underneath to Drinkwater. Drinkwater taken down at the 13. It'll be third tackle. Now Robson, he goes quickly out of the right-hand side. Oh, it's a big hit. Jackson Purdy gets whacked. Gets away from... Tom Dearden gets whacked, and now he's 2 metres out, fourth tackle. Jeez, Braden Trindle came in for a slap up there. John Bateman to Drinkwater. Drinkwater to Jackson Purdy. And now it's Shibasaki. So it wasn't Shibasaki who went off before. Actually, I think it was Shibasaki went up before. I think he's just back. Maybe, it's Drinkwater again with a bad mistake. And Braden Trindle's away here at the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50. Great run from Braden Trindle. Scott Drinkwater's been selling on the attack in the last couple of sets. That's a sin bin. That's a sin bin. Dearden's got to go to the bin. Dearden's got to go to the bin. Yeah, he's off. So Tom Dearden bleeding from his nose. It's unfortunate for him, but he's definitely a sin bin there. He clearly held up the play as the Sharks made a breakthrough, and Tom Dearden goes to the bin for 10 minutes. 20 minutes to go with the game here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and that right there is completely, definitely the game. Dearden, unfortunately, will give that one away, and there was nothing the referee could do there. He had to do it. Trendle gets taken down to the 50, and then Dearden just holds on way too long. Way too long. Trendle's clearly trying to get up, and Dearden to the bin for the next 10 minutes. 20 minutes to go. Well, Sharks, now's your chance to put a couple on. Bretton says Dearden off means cows cooked. Well, cows were cooked anyway, to be fair. Cows were cooked anyway. Dion says cows are their own worst enemy. Yeah, well, the Sharks were very clinical in the first half, but the Cowboys kept making mistakes, and that's where the Sharks were able to be clinical from. You know, like, the Sharks have enough talent on their roster, they should be able to score these kind of points and should be able to play like this consistently, but they get complacent very quickly. Jesse Ramian here runs his ball to the 13, third tackle, but the Cowboys, have been their own worst enemy, but the Sharks have also deserved this lead by 26. Atkinson, Nico Hines, short ball, Teague Wilton, probably the wrong play there from Hines. They had a 3-on-1 if he had got that ball at the back. Teague Wilton back to Blake Brayley, short ball McInnes, and that's going to be a try time for the Sharkies. Cameron McInnes, and that's going to be 30-6 with the kit to come. And this game is well and truly over now. Well and truly over now. So Cameron McInnes will score. Will score. 30-6. Game over, man. Game over. No comeback. Well, there was never really going to be a comeback, man. Let's be honest. Let's be real honest here. There was never really going to be a comeback, man. 19 minutes left, and I'm going to take Sharks off of... I'm going to take the old Sharkies off of the old fraud alert. Kobe says, do you think if the Cowboys come back from this score, they won't? Will your mother cry about the Sharks losing like you did when the Dolphins come back to beat the Titans? No, she doesn't care as much about... she doesn't care like that. She'd probably prefer the Titans too. I've cried way more than just the Dolphins game, to be fair. Like, I've cried way more. There was a game a couple of weeks ago, I think I teared up, didn't I? I think so. Haggard does says, who do you think drops out of the 8? Roosters. I don't think anyone drops out of the 8. Roosters, Eagles, Dolphins, and Sharks towards the finals run. I've got the Dolphins and the Sharks both getting in, to be fair. Dolphins and the Sharks. I feel like a Dagwood dog. Welcome to YouTube. Copy. No, it's the same guy. I don't think he understands. Like, I'm happy to reply to these kind of comments. Like, I have no worries in regards to crying in front of everybody here. I'm very confident in who I am. So it's like, I will cry whenever I feel like it. If the Titans... I nearly cried yesterday, to be fair. I nearly cried yesterday, but I didn't because I was super proud of the performance and whatnot. But, like, at the end of the day, obviously this guy is watching every single stream and watching me. So I live rent-free in the guy's head. You know, like, when you're confident in who you are, like, you couldn't care less about crying. Like, I cry quite regularly, to be fair. Quite regularly. So, Cowboys now will get this ball away from the halfway point. And if you don't cry as a man, like, I feel a bit for you. Like, I get why people don't do that. And I get why men feel, like, afraid to do that. But, like, that's a big part of the mental health game. You know, you need to realize, like, it's not soft to cry, whether you're a man or a woman. You know, you need to release those emotions. So the Sharks now get this ball to the 25. And Tom Dearden still in the bin for the next 7 minutes or so. I think I'm not going to reply anymore to him, though, because he has started talking about family. That's getting probably a little bit too far, though. So I'm going to hide that one, and I probably won't reply to it. Just a reminder, bro, like, I do see your comment before I read it out. I am reading it out because I actually want to read it out. I couldn't care less. But then when you bring it in family and whatnot, and the fact that you know that my mum's a Sharks fan means that you are a very active watcher of this channel. But yeah, look, it's all good banter and sledging and whatnot in regards to me, but as soon as you start bringing in family into it, then I'm probably not going to be too good with it. Sean James says, no Kim Kardashian for the Cowboys, just like the Dogs this round. I don't even know what that means. All right, so 0 tackle here for the Cowboys, and they'll get this ball here to the 30. Jeremiah Ney will now be at the 33 on first tackle. Tommy Dearden, still off for the next 7 or 8 minutes, though. If the Cowboys don't concede 50, that'd be pretty huge for them. That'd be pretty huge. Now second tackle here for the Cows. And Reece Robson will go right-hand side. And they'll be taken down here at the 45 on the third tackle. Robson left-hand side. And they'll get this ball here to the 45, fourth tackle. I wonder what we're going to have for dinner tonight. Maybe some spicy. I love pork, man, over here. Maybe some spicy pork or something. I had pork for lunch yesterday, but can't get over it over here. Just the way they make it and the flavours is just so good in Vietnam. And Cowboys get this ball at the 20, and it's going to be first tackle. Scott James have cried before during a game. Yeah, no, like that's the thing, man. At the end of the day, it shows how passionate you are. And it's good to see that happen. Like, obviously, if it's happening every single week, there's probably a bit of an issue. But if it's, in big-time games when you're passionately getting behind your team and all that kind of jazz, it just shows how passionate and how much you love the game and love sport and love the community that you do support and whatnot. So it's good to see when other guys do it. And it's like when Chicago Cubs won the World Series the first time. People are so emotional about sport and passionate about sport, man, that when the Cubs won for the first time in 108 years, 1908 to 2016, they won the World Series. And there was a lot of, grown men who actually watched the game from a cemetery, which was really emotional because they watched it from a cemetery because their dad or their mum or their family and whatnot had never seen the Cubs win the World Series, and they were a massive, passionate fan of the Cubs. And despite living maybe a full 100-year life or 107-year life from 1909 to 2015, the fact is they never saw it. So a lot of grown men and families actually went to watch the game on their phone or on a computer at the cemetery because they wanted to be around their family who had passed away when the moment happened. And that's how, emotional sport can become for people. Fifth tackle for the Cowboys, and they'll be taken down to the 18. Sharky's ball. Brenton says I had a Philly steak for lunch at the Full Throttle Ranch. You're at the ranch, are you, Brenton? At the ranch. But yeah, Philly steak is beautiful. Scott James, did you hear about that story? Someone supported the Cubs for 90 years, didn't get to see the Cubs after he passed away. They won the World Series. That was a lot of people, dude. That was a lot of people. I know people who had family who were like that with the Cubs. Because obviously I'm a Cubbies fan. I lived in Chicago and whatnot. It's incredible. You could have been born in 1908. 1909. Yeah, 1908 was when they were last won. So 1909, lived a full 116-year life. Like, that's longer than everyone, pretty much. 116 years and still never seen it, right? Like, no, not 116 years. 106 years, sorry. 106-year life and not seen it. And there are a lot of teams that will never win it. Sharks knock on here at the 40. 14 minutes to go of the game. Like, look, when Leicester won the Premier League in 2016, grown adults, grandpas were crying on the field. Manchester City in 2011-12, grown men crying, bawling their eyes out on their knees. And that's what I love about it, man. It brings out emotions of grown men who feel like they can't have those emotions. I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Good stuff. Dion says, can't eat that dog and not have a cat. That's not fair. That's not fair. Don't think I'm going to be eating any cat. That's for sure. No. That's for sure. Chad Fubman says, hearing the stories about Newcastle winning in 97 gets talked about so much. Sure, it was a split comp, but the emotion and stories you hear just makes it worth it. Of course, especially winning. Could you imagine me? Could you imagine me if the Titans did what they did, the Knights did in 97 against Manly? Oh my gosh, I'm not surviving that night. I'm not surviving the night, mate. 4 tackle at the 40. Scoring a try in the last seconds against one of your biggest rivals to win the grand final? Like, dearie me. That would just be the wildest shit ever. So Cowboys now. Drinkwater is going to put that ball to about the 3, and Sione Katoa picks it up, and he'll get this ball to the 10, 15. Decent run. 12.5 minutes left. Bigger right than the Dogs. No, I don't think anything's going to get bigger than when the Dogs eventually win the comp. Sydney will burn to the ground. Sydney will burn to the ground. Canberra says, someday, man, that dream will become a reality, I hope. I don't know if I want it. Because I don't know if we survive, Brody. I don't know if we survive the night, mate. Oh, Blake Brayley with a good run. Couldn't get the offload away. 4 tackle at 45. Don't know if we survive the night. Like, obviously I want it, but like, it's a scary thought. My mum doesn't like me saying that, but at the end of the day, it's true. Like, that would just be the most insane week, let alone night. And Cowboys grab the ball at 25, first tackle. Scott James says, have they announced the teams for next year in Las Vegas? Wouldn't mind going to experience it. Next year's not a great slate, mate. They've got the Cowboys playing the Knights, which is a bit of a yikes game, and then you've got the Bulldogs playing the Dragons, which could be an okay game. I don't mind the Bulldogs-Dragons shout, but the Cowboys and Knights game, not necessarily too huge. Then you've got the Super League game, but I know you probably wouldn't care too much about that. But Vegas experience is awesome. Knock on here from the Cowboys. I think they'll challenge this year. They'll challenge it. Yeah, they will. Ken Bro says it'd be a hell of a way to go out if he didn't survive. That's what I keep saying to my mum. I'm like, listen, I don't survive the night, but just know I went out happy. Just know I went out happy. Had a good time. I had a good time regardless. So Drinkwater obviously bobbles it. Does it touch a Shark player? And that'll be a knock. Ooh. It's going to call a knock on. I don't know if he's fully regained it yet, and Teague Wilton's shoulder will come in. He hasn't really regained it there. Yeah, no, that's a knock on. That's a knock on. Lagan Ballsack says, Dogs or Warriors grand final win would create volcanoes. Dogs, yes. Yeah, Warriors would be nuts, especially if you're in Auckland. Auckland would be wild, dude. Like, I know there's a lot of Kiwi fans in Australia, especially Gold Coast, Brisbane and whatnot, and still quite a few, obviously, Kiwis in Sydney, especially out west, but yeah, Auckland would be nuts, dude. If you guys want to know how people react to crazy shit like that, and you don't know about it, go look at how Philadelphia have reacted to their NFL Super Bowl win in 2017. Sione Katoa, he'll get this ball to the 25, was it 2017 or 2018? Daz, you'll know about it because they did it against the Pats, but go and have a look at what Philadelphia did as a city when they won that. Detroit would burn. Detroit actually might cease to exist as a city if they win. If Detroit find a way to win. 6 again with the Sharks, 10 metres out. Tom Dearden still in the bin. 2025. Thank you, Daz, mate. Not talking about this year's one. I'm talking about the one against the Pats. Short ball, Britt Nakora, 5 metres out, second tackle. Oh, 2018. Thank you, Daz. 10 minutes to go of the game, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. We're just kind of talking about other things because this game is, unfortunately, well and truly over. After this try, if the Sharks do score it, I will be taking them off fraud alert for the first time in a very long time. Very long time. And now 4 tackle, 8 metres out, 10 minutes to go. No, Daz, mate. Not talking about the one in 2005 they lost. I'm talking about the one in 2018 they won, yeah. The one where they stole an ostrich from the Philadelphia Zoo and then were riding that ostrich down the main centre of Philadelphia as buildings burned and police cars were overturned. True story. So right-hand side, Nico Hines at the back here to Jesse Ramey. Jesse Ramey back onto the inside. 3 metres out from the line, and that's going to be Cowboys ball at the 3. Sharks, welcome. You are now off of fraud alert. Wow, Cronulla. What a scene. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Sports Sense, how do you feel after City travel? Yeah, amazing, but I will say the best ever feeling with City was Aguero. But it was amazing to go and win the Champions League. That was just like the piece, like the real top, the piece de la resistance. It was beautiful, but nothing will ever beat 11-12. Nothing will ever beat. You know what? Vincent Kompany scoring that goal to win 1-0 at Etihad over United with 3 games to go to take the lead in the title race was incredible. But yeah, Aguero, nothing will beat it. Second tackle for the Cowboys, and they're going to beat the 40. Jared Fomani says, what is the most emotional NRL Grand Final win? A part of me wants to say 2014 because of the drought. I think it's the Sharks, 2016. I think it might be Cronulla. Rabbitohs and Sharks will always have a battle between the significance of those grand finals. We actually spoke about this on an Instagram page called Rugby League Law, I think last week. I had the Sharks 2016 most emotional, and then probably 2014 for the Rabbitohs. And then third would be whoever wins this year, as long as it's not the Panthers, the Storm, or the Roosters. And now the Cowboys. Fourth, I probably would have said, was maybe the Dragons. Dragons in 2010. That's going to be a knock-on here from Cronulla. So it should be Cowboys bought the 10. I'll probably say Dragons, maybe 2010, then maybe 2005 Tigers, because that was the first merger team to win. that finished 2016 grand final was crazy as well. Oh, yeah, dude, that grand final was unbelievable. It's one of the greatest grand finals of all time. People will obviously focus on 2015 and 2023. 2023 was incredible. 2015 was okay for the first 70 minutes. Last 10 minutes was great. It was the greatest finish to a grand final between the Broncos and Cowboys. Game was pretty average, though. Panthers, I honestly think the Panthers-Broncos could go down as one of the greatest grand finals of all time if you actually deep it. So they're going to challenge this here, the Sharks. Kennedy grabs it. I don't think Drinkwater knocks that ball on. It's actually an accidental offside there against Trindle. Kembros has got to be the Sharks. You know you've done something special when Gallen of all people collapsed to the ground in tears. Exactly. See, there you go. Another guy who is, you know, you can't control those emotions because he's so passionate about the club. So that's going to be a knock-on here from the Sharks. Unsuccessful challenge. Scott James says, I know it's probably a Titans management problem, but is Titans pathways any good? I generally want to see them succeed. There needs to be a lot of changes in a lot of departments, but at the end of the day, the Gold Coast is a feeding ground for a lot of the rugby league across the competition. So they need to do better in regards to it. They have PBC on the Gold Coast. They also have Marsden as schools, and then they've also got... they had Keebra, but Keebra wanted to give us an ultimatum, and we said, screw off, because we're not getting rid of PBC and Marsden. They wanted to be exclusive with us, and we said no. So then they signed with South Sydney, and that's benefited them absolutely nothing. So I'm sure they probably want to come back, but at the end of the day, I don't know how willing the Titans are going to do that. And then we're obviously signed with Tweed and Ipswich in the Host Plus Cup. We lost Burleigh because Burleigh went to the Broncos. But that doesn't really matter a great deal to me. So Tom did, even though I grew up playing like in the youth for Burleigh and stuff like that. Second tackle at the 5. Turn 4, Bulldogs up there with the greats. No. No, I understand why you're saying that, but no, there's other grand finals that you definitely put above that. And in regards to emotions, I'd probably say there's others, yeah. Before 2004, when was the last time the Dogs won the comp? Was it in the 80s, or did they win a 90s one? So to the right, Tom Dearden. That's going to be, I think that's just back. Yeah, 6 again. They did say knock on from the Sharks. All right, so 0 tackle here for the Cowboys at the 18. Scott James says, Dasmate 04 was one of the best grand finals, to be honest, when Michael Crocker lost it. See, Dasmate was probably a bit young to remember it. Lager definitely was. Just a straight no, you're blocked. You probably can't even remember the grand final, mate. So my grandfather was a Dogs fan. I remember watching the grand final with him. So Reece Robson, that'll be knock on from the Cowboys, and Will Candy will pick it up and bring it out here to the 10. Oh, 95 Dogs won. Yeah, okay. So that's only a 9-year gap. So no, in regards to 2004, you can't claim that one. Seneca Katoa to the 11. Is everyone still alive? What are you referring to, Olivia? If you're talking about my like grandmother and grandfather, grandmother is, she's a Tigers fan, so they had a good time in 2004 and 2005. He won in 2004, and then she won in 2005. She's alive. He passed away about 2 years after that, actually. 1 or 2 years after that grand final, actually. Yeah, no, I definitely learned a new language, Jay, watching that grand final with him. So they'll be at the 40 on 4th tackle, 6 minutes to go of the game. Great coaching story that 95 Dogs won. Jared, how old are you? 95? That was 1 year after I was born. How old are you? With respect. So the Cowboys now will bring this ball to the 10, first tackle. And now Jeremiah Nene, he'll bring it out to the 20. 5 minutes to go here. It's been an absolutely diabolically dead last 15 minutes, but we all knew that was coming. And that's going to be forward pass there from the Cow. No, they didn't call forward. They should have been definitely forward. John Timu, All Black player. Are you talking about John Alomu? John Timu, All Black player that final 1995. Are you talking about John Alomu? Is that who you're referring to? Oh, 20. Okay, I like going back and learning up on history. Okay. So you weren't even born 95 then? You were, what, 97? No, 98 you'd be born. All right, so fit tackle here for the Cowboys, and they'll be at the 38. Scott says, if Yo and Martin are injured, do you see Panthers 25 in a row? I don't see Panthers 25 in a row now until I see them against the Raiders, the Bulldogs, the Storm in that 3-game stretch, not next week, but the week after. So Will Kennedy, and he'll break this ball to the 35, and then they'll be, sorry, at the 15, and then taken down at the 17. Oh, John Timu. Oh, so John Timu is actually Are you talking about Joe Lomu? Are you getting this name wrong? Or is John Timu an actual person? I'm not too sure, mate. Because again, I was only 1 year old. Oh, you're born when the Broncos... Yeah, oh, I'm so sorry. Third tackle at the 30. Jared has to be older than Jay. No one's older than Jay, Brenton. Come on, Brenton. Don't be silly. This is a serious channel, mate. Forward tackle, 4.5 minutes to go of the game. Forward tackle. Hey, at the very least, the Sharks here might be away. At the very least, the Sharks fans, you can hold your head high that you are out of fraudulent. Yeah, John Timu was right. Oh, John Timu is right. Okay, my bad, dude. Like again, that was before my time and an All Blacks player. John Timu. John Kahukura Raymond Timu. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, man. My bad. John Timu played for Otago. There you go. Well, the Kiwis would know him. The older generation Kiwis would definitely know him. How'd the Roosters get out of fraud alert? Do I not have him on fraud alert? Oh, yeah. Shit. What are you doing? Hey, Roosters, what are you thinking? You're a... Oh, Roosters, you sneaky dogs. You sneaky dogs, eh? What are you thinking, Roosters? You're still on fraud alert, you sneaky, sneaky dogs. That's disgraceful. That is disgraceful, Sydney. What are you thinking? You think because you beat Manly? You're off fraud alert? You wish. You wish. You're a wisher. New coach of the Cowboys next season? Who? Sure, but who? It's not a great deal. There's never a great deal of coach on the market. But sure, it's got to drink water now at the 32. John Timber was the guy that no one saw or heard from since the 95 grand final and just randomly showed up last week at Old Boys Day, right? Is this true? And they kick this ball over the top, and that's going to be Cowboys. Grab the ball, Braden Burns, and they score. 32-10 with the kick to come. They probably would have got a penalty regardless, but it'll be 32-10 with the kick to come. Cowboys last try wins, eh? If you're born in the 90s, aren't you a yuppie? A yuppie? What the hell is a yuppie? Yuppie. A young person with a well-paid job and a fashionable lifestyle. Why does that make someone a yuppie? Being born in the 90s. Stereotypical 1980s yuppies obsessed with material objects and financial success. I think that's probably, 80s. I don't think 90s is significantly obsessed with material objects and financial success. Maybe some, but I don't know if that's necessarily my era. Yuppie is a latte sipper. I don't come from Bondi, Jay. I don't come from Bondi. Yuppie is a boat-owning rich prick. Well, I don't exactly have a boat just yet, lads, but I doing what I'm doing. Jared says, 2011 was a great year for me. My bro was playing with the under-20s Waz. Waz made the grand final. I watched the All Black World Cup with my granddad a year before he passed. Great time. Yeah, New Zealand won against France in that World Cup, but it was a controversial final. But you did win it. And the Cowboys will get the kicks. We'll be 32-12 with a minute 50 to go here of round 22. Next week, we've got some good games, guys. We've got some really good games next week. So we'll be live for all of them. Storm Broncos on Thursday. Belter. Knights Panthers on Friday. Not the most impactful, but still important for the Knights and important for the Panthers. So that is maybe a belter, but Panthers should win that one. But then again, they should have won yesterday and they didn't. And don't tell me they did. Raiders Manly. Really big game. Dragons Sharks. Really big game for Cronulla. They'll guarantee a top 8 spot with a win. Dragons, nothing really for them though, but it's a rivalry game. Dolphins Roosters. Belter. Bulldogs Warriors. Belter. Titans Rabbitohs. Battle of the Spoon. Belter. Eels and Cowboys. I don't want to watch it. So, minute 46 to go of the game. A yuppie is a yummy puppy. It's a Vietnam dish. What are you talking about? What are you doing? Yeah, these last 5 weeks are going to be good, Jared. A lot to play for every team, pretty much. A lot to play for. Served with rice and binges. Seek help. He won a grand final his first year, John Timu. Otago. A blocker coach for the Cows. You get blocker Roche Cowboys coach. Cowboys run home. Eels, Knights, Tigers, Broncos bye. This is going to be another year. Another year where the team who has the bye does not make the finals in the last round 27. Every team who has got round 27 bye has not made the finals. Dion says, bloody good streams this week, dude. Thanks for the entertainment. Appreciate you, man. Best serves with rice and bin juice. You need help. Fit tackle at 35. Imagine having to play next week. Must be tough. Yeah, well, you know what, Mitchell? We're going to slap the Rabbitohs next week. We're going to slap the Rabbitohs next week. Oh, Will Candy, good run. He's at the 50. This should be a try. No, he didn't pass the ball. He's still going, though. He'll be taking out the 30. 28 seconds to go. Sharks, its last try wins, and the Cowboys scored the last try. That's a bin. Well, that should have been a bin there against Drinkwater, but everyone just wants to go home. Take a field goal, Sharks. 25 metres out, 15 seconds to go. Take a field goal. Take a field goal. Don't be cats. Blake Brayley, Nico Hines. No, they're going to go for the try. To be fair, their points differential, they do need it. But that's going to be a knock-on there from the Sharkies. And they're going to win 32-12. So a 20-point game here. 20-point game, 32-12. The Sharks will go off of Fraudulent for the first time this season. And look, it was a confident win. Yeah, look, they looked a bit shaky in the second half, but they were well and truly up. They were 26-0 up and got a bit complacent. But only conceded 6 in the crucial period of that game. And then the Cowboys scored late. But the Sharks will go from 8th position to 7th position. They'll be equal with the Broncos. They'll go from plus 23 to plus 43. But the Broncos are on plus 124. So the Sharks will go to 7th. Dolphins drop to 8th. And now the Sharks are 4 points clear of both Roosters and Manly. I don't think they play Roosters or Manly in the backstretch of the season. Let me quickly have a look. The Sharks, their backstretch, they play against the Dragons, the Titans, the Bye, the Knights, and the Bulldogs. So, look, I really can't see the Sharks missing the 8 from here, man. I just can't. And the Roosters and Manly have still a very tough run home. The Roosters, I still don't think are good enough. I think that right now the battle for the top 8 is coming down to the Dolphins, Roosters, and Manly because they're within 2 points of each other. But anyone 28 points and above, I've got pretty convincingly making the top 8 in the end. And then on the other side, the Cowboys, because they lose, they will go down to 13th position because the Tigers got the win. So the Cowboys are now just 3 points away from the spoon, which is still fine, but they're in the hunt for the spoon still. The Cowboys, Knights, Eels, Titans, and Rabbitohs all still have a really red-hot opportunity of that spoon. And the Tigers are away from it now because even though they're still only 4 points away, they have a bye next week, which will get them to 22. They should be fine. The Dragons should be fine as well with their points differential, whilst the Rabbitohs are minus 197, Titans minus 153, Eels minus 153, Knights minus 116, and the Cowboys, regardless of their points differential, which is not the worst. Rabbitohs are the worst, but second worst. Doesn't matter because they're on the 19 points. So the Cowboys, let's quickly go through their run home and see how difficult it is, even though we kind of just read it out before. Cowboys, their run home. They've got Eels next week. Interesting game. Knights the week after. Another team around that area. Tigers, Broncos, and then the bye. So the bye will be helpful. There is a chance they could lose all 4 of those games, but then the 3 of those games are against teams in that same area of Eels 14th, Knights 15th, and Tigers in 12th before they take the Broncos on in 6th, which they won't win that game, I don't think, but it's rather a game. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off for now. I will see you on Thursday for the Storm versus the Broncos. Belter of a game. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'm going to go get some beautiful food here in Vietnam, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.